Brian, we were just talking a few minutes ago about delivering transformations within life sciences supply chains and how critical the people component of that is. As you've driven many transformations across many companies, what are your thoughts on that, and what would be some insights you might want to give supply chain leaders as they think about the people component?
Excellent. I guess I'd begin by saying the bad news or the pessimistic view would be that most transformations fail. And that's something to stare into and consider. Supply chain leaders don't want to be unsuccessful, and failure isn't really in the handbook typically. And so why do they typically fail? They typically fail because people fail to embrace the change. So the people element is key. The change has to be the right change. It has to be technically correct. But as it turns out, that's actually the easier part, particularly with the maturity of technical systems today. So how is it that we get that change to come about? The cliche would be communication and training. And both of those are important elements. Communicating, you need to understand what the change is, so I need to speak to you, write things down, and give those to you. I also need to teach you how to operate new systems, so you need to know, and then you need to understand how to do. But you also have to embrace that change, and that's a journey. And the best way that that comes about is to meet humans where they are, understand the inherent resistance they're going to have, and work with them through that resistance. All humans are going to have a natural period of rejection of the change and then coming to embrace it. And key in all of this is sponsorship from point to point to point in an organization. You should try this as an experiment. If you look around the room as a very senior leader is talking, that senior leader may say something, and even though she has the intent of sponsoring everybody in the room, the more junior people will, just for a moment, look at their immediate boss and not at their senior leader. And that's a psychological dynamic that needs to be considered. People take their primary cue from their immediate sponsors. So what does that mean in terms of sponsoring change? Senior leader obviously has a role to play, but so does everyone in the chain down to the people that need to make the change themselves. If I'm a supply chain planner, I need to plan in a different way and use different tools, communicate in a different way. If my boss isn't up for that change and maybe just saying that he is, then that change is likely not going to happen on my behalf. So really the three things all together, the two that I mentioned, communication and training, are what people think of most in change management. That third, that sponsorship, is an incredibly important dynamic also to manage.